Oh, you're just walking through that like. Anyways, as I was saying, it's your boy Mark. To all my Big Brother fans out there, I mean, I told y'all I wasn't gonna be able to see tonight's episode. Hopefully, it was a good one. I will catch it in the AM. But I told y'all I'll always prefer to miss a Wednesday or a Sunday to missing a Thursday because Thursday is my ish. I love eviction night. I love when people get put out of the house. It's my favorite thing in the world. Even when the person who I want to stay in the house doesn't stay, I still, I still love it. It's bittersweet when that happens, but it is what it is. Anyways, this was different. I went to a Challenge Mania event, and the lineup was spectacular. I don't know if it was spectacular, but that's the most, probably the biggest cast I've ever seen so far in any of those things. Oh shoot, man! At any of those things that I've seen. Hi, Marshall. We had the headliners. We had CT in the building. We had Johnny Bananas in the building. We had Theo, Olivia. We had some new people. We had we had Rogan's not new, but we had Rogan. We had a new guy, Justin. We had a few other Love Island people that I don't know their names. We had who else did I knew? Of course, Derek, Anissa. We had Jay, JG, uh, Jay. Ryan popped in for a bit. It was a good time. It was a good time. But I'll say this. As these things get bigger, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? I guess you probably couldn't see that, but the things that happen on these Manhattan streets at night are insane sometimes. Some lady that just decided, hey, it's time for me to climb a street light pole. Anyways, you can't ignore something. It's just like, what's happening? But anyways, yeah, we got there. So when I first started going to these things, they had them in these bars. I didn't start going from the beginning because I've heard that Challenge Mania stuff started in maybe about 8 years ago. And I started going, I think, about 4 years ago. So I came kind of in the middle, but what happened is it has expanded. It has gotten way bigger. They go to bigger venues. They have way more fans in the building, and that makes it chaotic. So probably the most fun part. I mean, we got there at the beginning and we just sat there, and the challengers, basically most of them weren't even there when we first got there. And then we watched the episode, and actually this is the first Survivor that they put the show on the TV, and I was actually able to see it and hear it. I heard it very clearly. I saw it very clearly. I heard the conversations. I was able to watch the elimination. I enjoyed the episode, and a decent amount of the cast from the episode was there, present in the building, and it was pretty cool. It was a good time. Now, when it came to the after part, they tried to squeeze in a meet and greet and a Q&A. So the meet and greet, the Q&A, they had to make a shorter one than usual because it was already late. And then, so only a few people got to ask questions. The meet and greet portion of it was chaotic. very chaotic because they could not organize that line for anything. There was people that paid for VIP tickets. There's people that paid for general admission tickets, and they said, "Oh, the VIP people go first." That didn't happen. I mean, it's neither here nor there. I always find a way to have a good time, but it was crazy in there. Hi, Vicky. But the cool part is at the end of the night, I did get to talk to Johnny Bananas and I got to talk to CT. CT, I was able to tell him that this advice that he gave me about grieving was honestly some of the best stuff that I heard during that time period. I mean, it's not like you ever finish grieving, but I just mean at the beginning of my process, those words were so meaningful to me. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Adam, I don't know what your follow-up comment is, but I decided to block you. Hi, your girl Jazzy. Hi, Charicity. So, yeah, so when I met CT the first time, right? He's this big overbearing monster. Just based on what I had seen on TV over the years, right? So I didn't know what we were going to talk about when I met him, but I did not expect it to be that. So I bought my ticket to go see CT. My dad was sick during that time, but I didn't anticipate that he would pass the same week as the event. And you guys know how I do when I come to challenge events or when I come to any of these reality TV events. I prepare things that I'm going to say to people. I have like show moments that I come to talk to them about and all this stuff. And then I had a bunch of things prepared to say to CT. I had like challenge history moments to talk to him about and all that stuff, right? To say that. And then I said, I buried Dad 4 days ago. And in my head, I was like, shoot, where did that come from? I'm like, I didn't intend to randomly just blurt out something so heavy. Like I didn't even want to really bring that up. And I don't know why I said it to him. Like, it's a fan event. I mean, I know that it's real life and everything, but it's just, I didn't plan to say that to him. And then he just had this reaction on his face. And then he was like, bro, he said, I'm so sorry for your loss. First of all, he said, I've never lost a parent, and especially not my dad. But he said, I have dealt with significant losses in my life, my brother and DM being two of the most significant. And he said, don't be a tough guy like me. He was like, I tried to bury my emotions and not think about them and do other things that were harmful to myself. He said, grief comes in waves. He said, sometimes you'll feel great to the point where you almost forget that you're grieving. Next minute, you'll be in line at Starbucks and you will order yourself a Starbucks coffee and you might just burst out into tears. He said, when those tears come, let them come. It's cleansing. He said, it's a beautiful thing. Anyways, the facts of the matter is, and the point of the matter is, those words that he gave to me are some of the most special, if not the most special. I mean, the only other person, funny enough, that there's a couple of people, I had a great conversation about my dad and the loss and everything with Sam, Circle Sam, and also a little bit with Kara, but the words that CT gave me were literally fresh off of burying my dad 4 days prior. And they were the perfect words. And I still think about those words, to this day. And I got a chance to thank him. That was the only thing that was on my mind when I came to this thing, is that if I get my chance to speak to him, I want to thank him for what he said to me. And I printed out you and me talking here, and this is what you said to me, and he remembered. he didn't remember at first, but when I started speaking about it and he saw the picture, he remembered, and it was just like, it was nice. That was my favorite part of the night by far. Like, maybe if that hadn't happened, I'd probably be more, a lot of other people were, but that was, the best part of my night. I love that you took the time to give you that at that time. I know how much that means. And I was sitting here while he was talking to me, not this time, but the last time. I was sitting there while he was talking to me, like, I'm a big fan of this guy, but then I'm also like, he's giving me life advice. I'm like, I'm fanning out, and I'm also taking something that's deep and meaningful, but I'm looking at him, and at certain points I'm like, I can't believe this is CT talking to me at this point. This is nuts. And I remember telling Cara last year that it's so crazy how I met her and CT within like a span of each other. I think. Yeah, I think it was about like a 2-month span. And it was both, I talked to both of them about grieving and stuff. Actually, funny enough, well, I'm not even gonna say that because, yeah, I don't want to say that. But he helped me through some things. But the episode was good. Bringing it back to the episode, I enjoyed it. The concept to me, they called it vets and threats or something like that. Vets and threats, and then he even remembers now. I love that. It means a lot when someone. I think that what I said to him today, funny enough, I think that what I said to him today meant something to him, because he had quite the reaction. I had stood in line forever to get to the front of the line, and the lady was like, all right, when you get there, boom, boom, we're going to take a few quick pictures, and then you got to go. And then he was like, hey, man, what's up? How you doing? And I was like, I'm doing good. I said, this is a picture. I said, I had to tell you, bro, about these words that you gave me 2 years ago and what they meant for me and what they did for me. He said, oh, yeah, what was that? And then, I told him what it was, and then I showed him my picture, and with some prompting. He definitely didn't just remember outright, but definitely with some prompting and visually having the picture. That's why that's actually, that part I did plan out. I'm like, I printed out the picture specifically because I needed him to remember, even if it was like a vague memory. Because I said to him at first, I'm like, I know you meet and speak to hundreds, thousands of people every year. So you might not remember this one, but I just wanted to make sure to thank you, because I think that I thanked him at the time, but it was just kind of like I don't know. I was at it. My emotions were just so all over the place that I wasn't even able to really process what he was saying to me. I'm like, this is CT talking to me. But after 2 years to like think more about it, and then when I posted up the video and people were commenting under the video, and I was thinking more and more about that conversation, I'm like, they were trying to rush him along and be like, yo man, you got other people behind him. He took a solid 10 to 15 minutes just to talk to me with a lot of people in the line. And I know that some people probably wouldn't like that, but I know that he took that time just because he felt like I needed it and those human moments. Secondly, I don't really want to say too much about this, but right after I left, after I had that conversation with him, I came outside and I saw Anissa outside. And Anissa had just left the venue in a rush, and I didn't know why. I just thought, maybe it's end of the night, she's trying to go home or something, or like I didn't really think there was any rhyme or reason because people, the reality stars leave at a certain point. They always leave. So I went to give her a hug. She says she remembers me because I've seen her quite a few times, and she said, only because I know you, this is probably the last hug that I'm giving out and the last picture that I'm going to take for the night. And I was thinking, that's interesting thing to say. I wonder why she's saying that. She says the reason why is because she lost her dad June 25 of this year. She said her dad had Alzheimer's and dementia, and he was in hospice care. And then from there, I stood outside listening to her for about half an hour. Had to be half an hour. While she went through her history with him getting sick and passing and all that. I was like, Anissa, I lost my dad to the same thing 2 years ago. And I said, I just left the building. And I was talking to CT about advice he had given me right after that happened. And I felt her pain. Now I kind of know how people felt when they were talking to me. Like I really know when you haven't experienced something like that and somebody tells you my dad passed, my mom passed, or whatever, it's like you feel bad for them. But once it's happened to you and you hear somebody else describing it, it's gut wrenching to hear them. And I felt like I was placed right there in that moment when she was feeling it, to be able to tell her, like, I've experienced that too, and to tell her a little bit about my experience and to show some compassion and empathy for her. Because she was like, I feel so bad that I might have let down the fans. I'm like, it's not about the fans right now. In terms of like fans that were waiting for her to take pictures and videos of them signing, like, no, this is about you. And it's so fresh for her to even show up is an amazing thing. Let alone to think that, to be present enough to be thinking about fans like that. I couldn't do it. I bet it did. Wait. Sure, if you connection. I can't read right now. Knowing you made a difference in someone's life on a personal level is special. Yeah. Talking about CT, yeah, I think that meant a lot to him to hear that. I have a tattoo of a starfish, meaning about making a difference to people. So I think people's reason resonate with this. Yeah. Good night, Marshall. That's amazing. I've heard so many stories and been there. You know what? But yeah, and you know what? I've heard so many stories beforehand. And like I said, I've always felt deep emotion emotions and connections with people saying things to me. Like when people are sad around me, I feel sad. So I felt that. I'm like, because I actually remember even one of my friends that lost their dad in 2019. It's 4 years before mine, and I felt really sad for that person, but it's like a different type of sadness to hear them. She was telling me, like, she said, it feels like my whole foundation for living was shaken at its core. She's like, the life that I knew just doesn't exist anymore and is never going to exist again. And I wanted to tell her, like, this is a new life, like, for me, it's never going to feel normal not having my dad, ever. And people told me, oh, this is going to be hard. The first year of everything is going to be hard, and then your heart is going to get stronger, and then you'll think about the happy memories of him, and, focus on the positives, and then, you're going to get through it. And it's like, that's why the CT advice was also like some of the best that I received, because he didn't tell me how to feel. He didn't tell me how I was going to feel. He didn't tell me what the process is supposed to look like. He just basically told me, whatever comes, let it come. Like, everybody's process is going to be different. The way everybody feels is going to be different. No one person is going to feel exactly like the other. No one person is going to grieve exactly like another. And it's kind of patronizing people to say it's going to go like this, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, it doesn't happen that way. But the one thing that is similar amongst everyone in that sucky club, as you said, Charicity, is like the very beginning of it, you just don't know what the norm is anymore. That feeling of like, I've had this person from day one up until now. Now all of a sudden, I don't have that person anymore. What do I do with my life from here? How do I, like, I was having some dreams, man. I was having some terrible dreams. And the reason why I say the dreams were terrible is not because the actual dreams were terrible, but in my dreams, my dad was alive in the dreams, and it felt so vivid. I would have dreams where I was talking to him, or I could hear his voice clearly. I was laughing with him, sharing things with him. Then I would wake up, and he really wasn't here, and I was like, maybe my life is the nightmare. Like, that's how I felt. Maybe my actual life is the nightmare. And it took me a while before I was like, you know what? This is not something I can wake up from. This is not something that's gonna change. This is not something, it's just not one of those things you just work through. It's just, you learn to just get up, and you learn to just keep going. You learn to just keep moving. And I hope and expect that eventually that's going to be the case for Anissa, because it's a fresh wound for her. And I gave her another hug before I left, and she thanked me. For all I know, she might not even remember that conversation tomorrow, for all I know, but it felt like I did something for her today, and that made me feel good about myself. Not that it was about me, but it's just like, sometimes you go through things and you're like, why did I have to be the one fun to experience this, but then someone comes to you and presents you the exact same thing, and you have the whole toolkit to present, to provide for them. I tell people all the time, ignore that advice. Grief is forever. It is. Yeah, I mean, I went way off topic, but there are days when something happens and it makes me happy, and it gives me like a happy memory of my dad, or I remember something funny he did or said or whatever. There's other moments where I think about conversations that went unsaid and things that I wanted to say to him that I never got to say, or arguments that I had with him, or things that he did that I didn't like or that were not right in my background. Happy moments, sad moments, angry moments. There's everything. So, honestly, there's no blueprint for it. But you know what? I remember one of my friends telling me this when my dad passed, and I felt like it was so harsh. Because this person was like, all that stuff that people are going to tell you about your daddy looking down on you from heaven, or he's in a better place, you don't have to worry because he's not in pain anymore. She said, that's all beautiful, but it's not going to make it hurt any less. And I was like thinking to myself, that's really hard advice to give me, but now that I've lived through it, she's so right. When the family unit is not a full unit anymore, that does something to you. It kills a part of your soul. It kills a part of your joy and rocks apart your core. And honestly, it's probably part of a reason why I'm less into the apologizing lately, and like when people leave and stuff, I'm not as a service and an insult here and active. Be dwelling on the ones that are here, choose to go elsewhere. Again, I'm all over the place with it, but this is my random stream of thoughts at this time of night after a long event where I'm going to be so super tired, and I'm supposed to be doing my exercise in the morning. I'm going to try to get it done. I'm going to try to hop on my elliptical and do like 45 minutes. That would be my least enjoyable thing, but probably most ideal, because I have an elliptical in the house that nobody uses. I am about 5 to 6 minutes away. Actually, detouring. Y'all know I cannot come back from one of these things without having my McDonald's fries. I can't lie to you. It's too tempting. It's too tempting, man. And I was doing so good, but it's just too tempting. It's too hard. Because I have a McDonald's like right by my house. And when I come back from an event late at night, what are you doing? Stay in your lane. Sorry, that's New York talk. This person was just swerving in my lane. And if they hit me like 5 minutes before I get to my house, I'd be tight. Part of grief is happiness of missing moments. I know, it was so funny. My dad always told jokes. Did I always find them funny? To tell you the truth, no. But I still miss him because he always found all his jokes hilarious. But to me, they were definitely dad jokes. My sister said at his funeral, if, what is it? If dad joke had a picture in the dictionary, you would see Ebenezer at Boca next to it. I thought that was funny. And I've told this before how my dad would take me around to these events he would go to, and he would say to everyone, "This is my favorite son." And they would think that he has like several sons or a few sons or even two sons. And he was just declaring that I was the favorite son out of multiple sons that he has. Come to find out, he just had me as a son. They didn't even know it was a joke. And then I only found out via my sister's funeral speech, because we as a family, it's not like we ran our speeches by each other, or maybe my mom and sister did, but I sure did not tell them what I was going to say in my speech, and they didn't tell me what they were going to say in theirs. So my sister opened up her speech with the exact same opening line that I had on mine. She says, "My name is Christelle. I am Ebenezer Boca's favorite daughter." I was like, were you peeking at my speech, or you just came up with that? 1 second. You just came up with that. She was like, "No, I just came up with that." One moment as I get my life situated at this drive-thru. Hi. Can I get take a value fries? I'll take a small fries, and I'll take a 6-piece chicken nugget. You want a McValue for $5? What was that? Which one? You want which McValue? $5 Mexican McValue? No. I just want from the value menu. Sure. What do you want from the McValue menu? Oh yeah, the small fries and 6-piece. Actually, a McChicken sandwich. Okay, small fries and a McChicken sandwich. Yeah. Yes, that's it? That's it, yeah. Alright, then. Thank you. I switched it up. I usually get the nuggets because it's less calories. I just was like, I'm really here counting calories at 1:30 in the morning at this point. I enjoyed what? That would suck. That's part of the funny, right? I was his favorite biological daughter. Oh, so I don't even get that one. Favorite biological daughter? Oh, he had what? Stepdaughters? We had to make sure that, oh, you were his only daughter, but my sister-in-law. Oh, I see. I said, I'm pretty sure she takes over me, so I'm the only bio daughter, so I guess I get that. This phone is most definitely on its last leg, by the way. I dropped it a couple more times today, and like, at this point, I think I'm gonna go on like Amazon and find a phone that I can buy on a payment plan. Find a phone that I can, find a phone that I can buy and pay on a payment plan, because this phone is Dunzo. No, I'm choosing between an Android and an iPhone, and I can't believe I'm even saying that, but it's a whole freaking fact. I said I would never do iPhone, but I might. Yeah, my dad was a jokester, dude. His whole life was just telling jokes. The funny thing about him, though, is he was a jokester outside of the house. Because I remember when I would meet his friends and stuff, they would be like, I bet your dad keeps your house filled with happiness and laughter. And I was like, yeah, he was a disciplinarian. He was fun and laughs to the public outside of the house. In the house, it was like, he was very serious in the house. But I loved watching him operate when we were outside of the house. It was like a different dad. It's like a whole different man. He went from brain surgery and his wife was worried he wouldn't know us. She said, do you know who we are? And he said, it's my favorite biological daughter. Oh, really? Yeah, you know what? It's just like the same thing I just said of my dad saying, this is my favorite son. Because he would wait to see if anyone would ask him how many sons that he has. Like, and I think it was 25% of the time that people were like, how many sons? Most of the time they would just say, oh, that's so beautiful. And then I'd be laughing to myself that nobody understood that he was joking. People kind of say I'm funny, but thank you. People say I'm funny, but not in this. I'm not funny in the same kind of way. Like my dad used to have like a book, an Encyclopedia Britannica worth of jokes in his head. And I don't mean jokes like knock who's there. He would like look up and read them, study them, practice them, reinvent them, modify them. He would find the joke somewhere, be like, that's funny, and then he would figure out his own delivery method. Then at like functions and family functions, gatherings, or at work functions, he would take those jokes and he would deliver them and everyone would laugh. And I think half of the funny for them was not even the joke. It was how he would be having this real hearty laugh at his own joke. Like, if he was going to tell the joke and nobody was going to find it funny, he was definitely going to find it funny. He didn't care if he told a joke to a room of 40 people and he was the only one laughing. I mean, that usually wasn't the case, but if it was, it would do him no different. It would do him no different. And I don't tell jokes, but people, I mean, I do kind of tell jokes, but not those type of jokes. Hilarious to go from my dad. Yeah, people always tell me I'm funny. I don't even really see it. They're like, you're so funny, like your Pops. And I'm like, Pops had a joke for every day of the week, and I don't even tell jokes. I was voted funniest in the high school class. And I remember asking why. I was asking my classmates, why did you vote me the funniest? And they're like, you don't even gotta tell a joke, Mark. Your demeanor, your mannerisms. You're just a funny guy. I'm very sarcastic. I'm a very sarcastic guy. I met somebody the other day who's sarcastic like me. And I was like, oh, you speak my language. And very few people understand my sarcasm too. That's the other thing. I always say things that I think are funny to get these big reactions, and people are like, oh my god, like, I remember this one time, one of my coworkers, I forget what they did, but they did something that was a minor inconvenience to me. And then I said something as a response that was like a little bit of truth to it, but mostly I was just joking. They were apologizing to me profusely. I said, I'm sorry that you took me that seriously, because I wasn't even that serious. Yeah, that's definitely my type of funny. I have to be at work in, what time is it? I have to be at my job in a meeting in 6 hours. I mean, 6 hours is not that bad, but when I get in, I'm not going to be falling asleep instantly, so I'm sure I'll be up for an hour, half an hour at least. But the point is, I was out today, so physically I'm going to be tired. Mentally, I'm going to be a little tired. I don't interact with people this much. When I come out to these type of events, that's the most socialization you're going to get for a while. What are we? Thursday today. Yeah, so tomorrow at some point, I'm going to watch the Big Brother episode. Maybe I'm going to watch a few feed clips to see what's happening. And I'm going to talk about Big Brother. Biggity Brother. It's been a while since I've done this. It's been a while since I had McDonald's. It's been a while since I've come back from the city at night and eaten my McDonald's on camera. This used to be a regular thing. Maybe this just goes to show you that I don't go out that much anymore. I don't always go out, but when I do, it is going to be a long day. It is absolutely going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day, but The thing about my life right now is I'm doing things that are draining and energizing at the same time. And I'll tell you what that means. The job that I tell you about, that I say that I like and I enjoy and all that stuff, it's tiring, bruh. The job is tiring. I've never had this much work to do in my life. You know, like I have so much work to do that I don't even go on Indeed. I don't even do side work. I don't spend half my day looking for other jobs. And that might sound like a really funny thing to say, but that was my life for the better part of the last at least 7 years. Where I was like, I'm only doing this job because I have to do this job. And the first opportunity I get, I'm out the door. And with this job, I have a lot to do for this job. And I have a lot to prove relating to this job. And so, but that's energizing to me because it's a spot that I've never been in before. And then secondly, meeting up with Carl last week, meeting with CT this week. It's tiring because I had to get myself up, get myself together, and go out to Manhattan and be in a big crowd, socialize with all these random strangers and all this other stuff. But at the same time, I'm home. I'm coming home with knowing that I had this really special time. I enjoy these things, you know, so you gotta wade through the weeds to get to the flowers. And I'm gonna go to bed. And when I go to bed, I'm not gonna feel drained. I'm gonna feel like I got everything I wanted out of the day. And squeeze the juice out of the lemon, just like Pops used to do. Because if there's one person who did everything he wanted to do in life and did it with a huge smile on his face, it was him. Beautiful. Listening to Anissa talk about her dad. Oh man, the CT thing, really nice. The conversation I had with Anissa, even better, because I was looking at somebody who has all these fans and has done this TV show all these years, and I've met 5, 6 times before in the past. And was in this moment for today looking at me like somebody who needed me for reasons totally unrelated to a TV show. And I think that check out what he wrote on this. He put his signature and then he put waves because he was telling me that grief comes in waves. This is going on the wall. This is dope. This is going, honestly, this is going right next to Kara's picture that she signed for me last week on the wall. Then I got a thing. Then, oh, I forgot the backpack in the car. Shoot. It's okay. I'm leaving it in there for now. I'll take care of that tomorrow. Creating. Definitely, I felt like I wasn't using my brain. I felt like I was not even using my brain. Honestly. It's like old times. Good morning, Ed. You're create. Let's see. Scientific. Paying it forward. All right. Um. Uno momento. I am gonna go back to the car because I actually need something that I left in the car. Yeah. Yeah. Do. Hey, Nick. Okay. She said something outside because what happened was there was a line to see CT, there was a line to see Johnny Bananas, there was a line to see some of these new guys, some of these Love Island guys who I refuse to recognize unless they make a name for themselves. Except Justin, because you know Justin was front and center in today's episode specifically, so Justin has earned his name in the game. But there's a few other new Love Island guys. I don't watch Love Island, so I literally don't even remember their names, but still, I